So Tony and Tess are in town this weekend to go racing with us at National Trails. But before they can go race the car, they've got to make some repairs to the upper control arm mounts. So while they're trying to get these repairs made to the Mustang, Billy's trying to get everything ready for us to head to the track. Unfortunately, he's got problems too. That being we're out of fuel. So with an empty drum loaded in the back of the 64, I head south down 33 through Lancaster to Logan to get this drum of fuel filled up with methanol so that the kids have plenty of fuel for the weekend. Now supposedly this evening there's a 32 car cash days going on down near Dayton, and Billy plans to take his Nova down there and enter that. Tommy's going to film, and Tony and Tess are going to try and run their Mustang. They had already pulled out and headed towards Dayton by the time I got back with the methanol. So Kenny and I used the John Deere to unload it out of the back of the 64 and set it off in the race car trailer. Once we had everything situated, I took the truck and trailer down to the track and got our pit set up, and Vicky took the 64 over to her mom's house. It turns out that the church that her family has been members of for years is hosting a car show today. So Vicky decided to go pick up her mom and take her to the car show where they could hang out and spend some time together. Despite the looming clouds, there were over 100 cars entered in the show, and thankfully the weather held out. Vicky and her mom walked around the show and checked out all the really cool cars that they had on display and talked to quite a few people who watched the channel and recognized Vicky's truck. At the end of the car show, there were actually some trophies handed out. And wouldn't you know, one of the guys that won was using Old Man Shine from Jack's Wax.
Look what I found. We got Old Man's Shine being used at the car show. Look at that. That's great.
Saturday morning started out like many Saturday mornings when Tony and Tess are here, with stick shift problems.
Well, what do you have to say for yourself today?
It's Mustang week. It's not a visit unless we have the car in a wreck taking the trans out, right?
Right.
I mean, that's
Right.
just like
I mean,
breakfast, take the trans out, dinner, change
Right.
the clutch.
The transmission's out of it?
Yeah, trans right there. Billy's sympathetic to the situation. So he was like, I'll buy you a trans and give me your old one, and I'll just fix it. I said, no, I'm going to get that one faceplate anyways. I'll just run it this weekend, and then we'll send it out. And he's like, well, I want a TKX for my Cobra. And I'm like, well, if you're going to get one, just get one. I'll put it in. I'll send this one out, and when it's done, I'll put it in, and then you can have your own. So that way I don't feel bad. He's just loaning me one. Rob's on the way back with another TKX.
Where'd you get that one from?
Jegs, Delaware.
Oh my
Same place I
God.
got that one.
A brand new one.
Brand new one's going in. And I got black plug wires coming. And the motor's black. I don't know if you've seen that. We're moving up in the world.
So while Tony's thrashing in the shop, it's time for me and the dogs to head to Trails. But as usual, Scrap doesn't want to ride in the Malibu.
Come on, scrappers. You ready to go to the track? You want to go? Come on.
As usual, me and June Pup went solo in the Malibu, and we had to come back and get Scrap in another vehicle. Not really a big deal since Trails is only about 5 minutes from our house. So anyway, me and June Pup hop in the Malibu and we start making our way down to the track to get checked in, get our armbands, and start getting the cars ready to make their passes. Now this event at Trails is a little bit different than most. We're not running the track the normal way. In fact, we're running the track backwards from the shutdown towards the tower. This means that the starting line is basically on bare asphalt, not concrete, and not a prep surface. The reasoning behind this is to replicate street racing, where the fastest car doesn't always win, and spectators are more than welcome to come watch. Once we all made it to the track, the kids started working on putting tune-ups in the Falcon and in Billy's Nova. While Billy and Tommy were getting their cars ready and their tune-ups downloaded into the ECUs, Vicky was busy getting the booth set up to sell merchandise. Thankfully, we had Bill Bybee, Addie, and Addie's mom there to help us. Now last year this event was really good for us. Tommy ended up winning small tire in the Falcon. Unfortunately this weekend, everything that could go wrong seemed to start going wrong almost immediately. One of the issues that we had was that it was difficult to even get to the staging lanes due to the amount of traffic, spectators, and vendors that were set up along the track. I wasn't able to make it up there for Tommy's first round to pour his puddle or back him up. Billy made it through first round due to someone breaking in the other lane, but there were other problems brewing back in our pit. There were serious problems with the carburetor and the throttle linkage on the Mustang, which almost made Tony and Tess late for second round of stick shift and led to a major catastrophe.
How can we explain this weekend?
Worst weekend of the year? Of this year? Yeah, I could say that. Pretty much. Like, everything went sideways, literally. And figuratively.
It's pretty bad. We don't usually leave races early, but
Yeah, we
I think
left
were
this
all
one,
ready to
didn't
go.
we? I don't know how to explain this weekend, so I figured I would just show them. This weekend sucked.
Yeah. See, last time we were out here for an Uncaged race, everything went beautifully.
Right.
Everything was beautiful. Billy won the street race the night before. Tommy won the actual race.
Right.
I don't even remember what we did, but it was like one of the best weekends of my life. It was
Really?
like, it was up there, top 5 weekends of my life. That weekend will always be like that. It's in history in my brain forever. This weekend is in history in my brain forever for
The worst.
the worst.
During the mad dash to get the Mustang up to the starting line so that they wouldn't miss their round call,
Poor thing.
Tess had an accident with her scooter.
Fine. I'm gonna feel great for about 4 to 6 hours, and then I'm not.
And then you're not.
Tess got into a head-on collision with another lady on a scooter headed the opposite direction. And unfortunately, I think Tess came out on the worst end of it.
Poor Tess.
Tony took Tess to the hospital in Allison's Jeep and got some stitches in one of her fingers and got some x-rays. By the time they got out of the hospital, we had all made it back to the house and decided that we weren't going to go anywhere the rest of the night and risk any more injuries or any more problems. Instead, Vicky brought pizza back for everybody. We started a campfire and everybody just hung out and relaxed. Some of us more than others. You know it's bad when Vicky's drinking. How bad was our day? Vicky's drinking. The next day, we were all hanging out in the shop, checking out Tess's x-rays and getting everything ready for them to head back to California this evening.
Here we are. It's Sunday. Some last minute things before Tess and Tony head out, before he has to put the car away in the toy box. What are you doing?
Something has happened to his carburetor.
Uh-oh. Well, I know a guy.
I know. So, something's wrong. I don't know what has happened, but something is causing a problem where the throttle doesn't come wide open. And I'm afraid that whatever it is may hang the throttle wide open.
Ooh.
And that's what I was concerned with this weekend while they were trying to race the car. Because obviously you're racing towards the tower.
Yeah.
And I was really worried that Tess might get hurt driving the car if the throttle hangs open, because if she shuts it off, it locks the steering column and
Oh,
she can't
geez.
steer. So I am going to find out for certain
What's going on?
what in the hell has happened, and I'm going to fix it so that I can sleep at night. Now, this carburetor that's on the Mustang is one that I built for Billy and Tommy years ago when their S10s were still on nitrous. And I've never had as much trouble out of this carburetor as I've had since it got put on Tony and Tess's Mustang.
Okay, what have you guys discovered?
All right. He had removed and replaced the secondary idle speed screw in order to make it work with his wide open throttle switch.
Yeah.
But when he put it on there, it was adjusted that the secondaries would close completely against the throttle bores and it would stick. So I just made an adjustment from underneath and just kicked the throttle blades open just enough so that they don't hang in the throttle bores. Other than that, it's just got too much return spring on it that bends the pedal.
2 different issues. Sticking was me. It was me. I mean,
It's all your fault.
and then the pedal bending, so I haven't had full throttle in this car in quite a while because the micro switch never came on for the nitrous for a while. So, I mean, it was close enough to full throttle to probably be okay as far as running it, but I don't
Okay,
know, it was
okay-ish.
okay-ish,
Yeah.
but you know, things
Well,
are-
those return springs that come with that kit are just so heavy that by the time you pull it wide open, they're stretched like that long. And it just puts so much tension on not only the cable, but the stock throttle pedal, and it's bending the throttle pedal in the car. So I've got that same kit on my Malibu, but I only want to run one spring because they are so heavy. it makes it hard for me to get a good reaction time foot braking. So I only run one spring. You're supposed to have two. The best, in my opinion, the best throttle bracket or the best return spring is the stock Ford cable. That's
The one that the springs in the backside of it.
Those are the best.
I can probably put one back on this.
Like that's what Billy has on his yellow Mustang.
Yeah.
So nice.
Yeah, the stock non-EFI cable
Yeah.
is the one that you use with this one. Should have been on there. We can put one on there too.
So with all that out of the way, it's finally time to back a Mustang outside, and Tony's going to put it in the race car trailer to store it until the next time they come back. Once we had everything buttoned up and the car put away, Vicky and I took Tony and Tess back into the Columbus airport and dropped them off so they could catch their flight back to California. I'm sure it's going to be a pretty uncomfortable flight for Tess in the condition she's in. I'm sure Tony will take good care of her once they get home. So that pretty much wrapped up the weekend, and then Monday morning I headed straight to Jegs to go see Uncle Terry to pick up some parts for Addie. You see, Addie's engine is almost done at the machine shop up at Bob's. We basically just need a timing pointer, some valve cover gaskets, and valve cover studs to have her engine ready to go on the dyno this week. Plus I need a few things to freshen up her carburetor a little bit. How's it going today, Uncle Terry?
It's going pretty darn well, Bill. Pretty darn well.
I'm trying my best to have a good day today.
That's good. Every day is a great day. Any day it's upright, it's a great day.
Yeah. So yesterday I had a little blonde girl walk up to me in my driveway and handed me a carburetor that I used to own and said, "Hey, we're ready to dyno this engine this week."
Oh, with a carburetor. That's great.
Yeah, so this is Addie's stuff. This is stuff Bob needs for her engine.
Awesome.
And I've got her little 750 carburetor I gave her at the shop. I'm going to go through it and make sure it's good to go. But I think we're going to dyno this thing this week.
That's great. I bet the little girl's beside her, so.
I'm ready to have a good week instead of the weekend that we just had.
That's great.
Because it was rough.
I think that'll be fine. Yeah. I bet her and her whole family is going to be excited. That's going to be great.
All right, guys, so we're back here at the shop. I'm going to get started on Addie's little carburetor back here. I want to go through it, pull the bowls off, and just check it, make sure there's no crud in the needle and seats, and make sure it's ready to go on the dyno this week. Bob's got her engine done. He's working on another engine today. He's got a big block Chevy he's dynoing today, and then it comes off, and maybe tomorrow we can get started on Addie's engine. I'm not sure his schedule yet. I haven't talked to him a whole lot yet this week. Been busy. In other news, we've got some exciting things coming. I've got a box here from Strange Engineering that has a 9-inch Ford in it and what Jimmy Dale calls hot boy brakes. We've got disc brakes to put all the way around my red Nova, and once we get that work done, we can finally start taking it to the track and making some passes with it to see how it runs. If you remember, we put a real mild 383 small block Chevy crate motor from Summit in my Nova unfortunately when my 355 expired. Turns out there was a wiring problem with the with the boost controller, and it didn't control the boost, and it made like 30 pounds of boost in like 1.5 seconds. And yeah, so that engine expired rather abruptly, unplanned, unscheduled. So Billy bought that little crate motor and put it in my Nova. It's just a very, very mild, I would call it a truck engine, to be honest with you. It'd be a good engine for a pickup truck, but it's not a race engine at all. And it's probably not going to be in there very long. We'll probably fire it up and make some passes with it and start working with it a little bit and make some content with it. Just see what we can do with it. But I'd like to maybe try and run it in 650 index because as you may have seen in the last video or two, 650 index in my Malibu is fun. However, it's a foot brake car and it's very difficult to compete against cars with trans brakes because they're able to cut so much better reaction time, unless of course you have a Mississippi delay box, or you're guessing on a instant green tree. Sometimes you have to guess a pro tree as well. But like I said, we've got some work to do on the Nova. I've got a 9-inch rear end here and some strange engineering disc brakes to put all the way around the car. And after that, I mean, maybe a set of, probably going to put some different traction bars on it. Right now it's got old style J-bolt Lakewood traction bars on it. We're probably going to put some Caltrax on it. And I need to get some shocks coming from Viking. I need to get on that today, actually. But once we get all that stuff taken care of, we're going to be able to start making some laps with my old Nova. And I'm sure there's a lot of people that would like to see what a mild 383 crate motor is capable of with a pair of twin turbos, low boost. You know, we can't put a lot to it. But and the reason I say that is because the rings haven't been gapped for boost, and it's got hyper-eutectic pistons in it. So it's not gonna withstand a whole lot, but we don't plan on really pushing it that hard. It don't take hardly anything to go 650s in that car, so that should be interesting. We're gonna start working on another engine for the Nova soon. If you watched the last video, you probably saw that we're looking at maybe doing an LS swap for House of Pearls in that Chevy pickup truck. And that LS engine may end up going up to Bob's and being put on the dyno. Bob's got everything up there to start running fuel injected engines on his dyno. We just need to get it set up and get it working. So that's coming. And of course, we're getting ready to start that project. Bob's going to build a small block Chevy similar to what's in my Malibu, only it'll be a 427 cubic inch instead of 421. And we're going to do that small block Chevy and do a giveaway on it. Now I'm sorry, tongue-tied. We had originally intended to build it as a pump gas engine. However, to build a 427 small block Chevy pump gas engine, I'd have to custom order pistons to lower the compression down to get it to where it'll run on pump gas. So we're going to build an E85 engine similar to what's in my Malibu. In fact, it'll be almost identical to the engine in my Malibu, only it'll have a 4-inch stroke. So it'll be a 427 instead of a 421. So that's coming up. Also, I'm going to try and get back on this 55 Chevy. We kind of got off track with it when Mom passed away, and everything's just kind of been upside down and backwards ever since then. But we're trying to get back on track. We're trying to get things rolling again. It's been difficult, but we're working on it. So thank you guys for watching. I appreciate you guys liking, sharing, commenting. If you came to see us this weekend at National Trails and we didn't get time to talk to you or something, I apologize. It's just very difficult because every time I step outside that trailer, I only take about 2 steps and somebody wants to take a picture, or they want to say hi, or they want to show me pictures of their car or their project or tell stories. And it's just very difficult when everything seems to be going wrong, and it's just absolute chaos in your pit area. I apologize if you came to see us this weekend. It was just a really rough weekend. It just seemed like everything that could go wrong was going wrong, and it was just it just seemed like there was no end in sight. But anyway, thank you all. I appreciate you very much.
Tony, everything he does is racing.